Hello, kids. How are we doing? Who's out there today? Come and join the fun. Let's see if our guest for today is going to show up. We've got the lovely Laura Adams coming back on board to chat a bit more about the Great Fire of London. Good afternoon, Chloe. How are you? Are you well? Hi, Dom. How's everyone today? Nice to see you all. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. It's a bit cooler today, isn't it? Still nice. I've been out digging in the garden today. Well, not digging, really. Shifting pebbles and... oh, hi, Sadie. Hello, Sadie. Nice to see that you're watching. Yeah, I've been out digging pebbles and chopping down bits of trees. I've probably got some leaves in my hair or something today, which is a bit mad. Hello, Pepe. Yeah, it's chilly, isn't it? It's a really chilly day today. But hey, it is what it is. Back to the winter for a little bit. I got a new mug today. I've literally just had it delivered in the last 10 minutes. Oh, hi, Maria. From my friend Maria, who's just come on board. Muchísimas gracias. She sent me this lovely, because her cat is apparently my biggest fan. So this just arrived 10 minutes ago. So it's perfect. I've got my tea in it today, Maria. So thank you very much. Yay, my new mug, because I've gone through my entire mug collection now, as you've seen them all. So I have to say hi to Neo, who's my little cat friend. Nigel Runstrom's back. Hello, Nige. How you doing? Missed you yesterday. I need to say hi as well to Linus and Mina, who are the big Great Fire of London fans. Danny's saying you don't know Chile. Danny lives in Winnipeg in Canada, who has still got loads of snow. So yeah, definitely he knows about Chile. Right, I'm going to see if we can get my lovely friend Laura back. I see you coming back on here. Hopefully. Any second now. There she is. How you doing, love?
Hello. Good. How are you, Alex?
I'm good. My it's been awful the last 24 hours. I'm having loads of problems uploading things, which is a real shame. But hey, yeah. Can you see me okay?
Oh, no, you're cracking up to me.
Am I?
Yeah, I can sort of see you.
Oh, well, I've got you fine.
Can you see me all right?
Yeah, absolutely fine. So we'll just carry on and hope for the best. Just the way it is. So,
absolutely.
So for everyone coming back, and welcome back to our lovely Laura, who is coming back for the second half of our Great Fire of London chat. It was such a great one the other day. Everybody really loved it, and they loved all of your little insights, and quite a few people went and had a look at that video as well that I put on my links on my website, and everyone was saying how amazing it is. It really is that lovely 3D rendition of pre-1666 Great Fire of London area. Just gorgeous.
It's extraordinary. If you haven't seen it, go and see it. It just takes you back there. It's wonderful.
Yeah, so that's still on my links on the website. So, Fuzzy Alex. Oh, I'm sorry. I think it's just the way it is today. I think the internet's really bad. So what I'm going to have to do is just make sure that I can record it and upload it today. I think everyone's internet is a bit rubbish at the minute. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, right. So, where did we leave it the other day? We left it with the fire roaring up towards St. Paul's Cathedral. We didn't know if it was going to burn or not. Well, you do. I do.
No.
But, you know.
So, what?
So, yeah, carry on. You go.
What's going to happen? What is going to happen? And just a very brief recap. We all know, don't we, that the fire has broken out at Thomas Farriner's bakery. It's spread west by these strong east winds. Hot, dry summer. We've had this dry timber. And by day 3, which we're on at the moment, the whole city seems to be on fire. And I have a fantastic quote from John Evelyn, another great diarist, not quite so well known as Pepys, but he says, God grant mine eyes may never behold the like, who now saw above 10,000 houses, all in one flame, the noise and crackling and thunder of the impetuous flames, the shrieking of women and children, the hurry of people, the fall of towers. Houses and churches was like a hideous storm, and the air all about so hot and inflamed. So I think he puts it better than I got.
Quote.
Isn't it? So we're all back there, aren't we? We're back in that fire. So, it has spread to the west a lot, but it has also just slightly edged east as well. And there's a beautiful church that many of the guides who are here today will know, St Dunstan's in the east.
Yeah.
And this was, it was a medieval church, and sadly the fire had got to the church. Now, the boys at Westminster School had heard about this, and they said, we are going to go and try and save this fire. So they make their way to St Dunstan's, and they make a line from the church down to the river. And with the leather buckets that they were using, they passed the buckets back and forth to the river. And amazingly, did manage to put the fire out at St Dunstan's in the east.
Impressive.
The sad thing is that the next day it came back, the fire came back, and the church was lost. But do go, for any of you who haven't been to St Dunstan's in the east, who are watching today, do go. It's the most beautiful little oasis.
It's one of my favourite places in the city of London, because you can be walking around in all the hustle and bustle, all the business that's going on, and you turn this corner, and I'm going to show a little picture because it's absolutely spectacular. This is what you get. You have essentially the shell, I guess, the kind of the bones of this old church. You can see those lovely windows there, but it's just grown with trees and all sorts, and it's just so beautiful and so tranquil as well. I love it.
Fabulous. Alex, I can't see that very well. I don't know if everybody else can.
Yeah, my internet is really bad today, so I think, don't worry, we'll power on. I'll make sure I record it and I'll put it on later, assuming I can upload it. So that's
wonderful. So, but thank you. That's fantastic. So let's carry on then. So we've come up Cheapside, which is the old marketplace, and now St Paul's is under threat. Now, St Paul's should not burn. It's a stone building. So all the booksellers are in this area, and they think, fine, let's put our books in the crypt. They're going to be safe. It's not going to be a problem. However, just a week or two earlier, Sir Christopher Wren, he'd been asked by the King Charles II, to do some work, some restoration on St Paul's Cathedral. And St Paul's Cathedral was really very run down by this time. The spire had been struck by lightning. The nave had been used for ball games. And in the Civil War, Oliver Cromwell had stabled his horses up the nave. And, it needed a lot of work done to it. So he said, look, fine, I'm going to do some restoration work. So he put all this wooden scaffolding around the cathedral. So what happens is that when they... Yes, the fire gets to the cathedral, of course, the wood goes up in flames, and then the lead roof and there are apparently about 6 acres of this roof, and it starts to melt. And we have to remember, it was a huge cathedral, even bigger than the one we have today.
Now, I do have a little picture of it, which I'm going to put up here, just so people can see.
Because you can get an idea, even if you can't see it well, you can get an idea of that sort of Gothic shape of that old cathedral.
And this building is actually bigger than the current St Paul's Cathedral as well, isn't it? Both in length, in breadth, and in height. A lot bigger.
Exactly, absolutely. So this huge lead roof starts to melt into the crypt. What happens is that the books, of course, are down there, and they just go up in flames, and the whole cathedral is engulfed. And apparently the light from the fire from the cathedral is so bright. William Taswell, who's another, he's a young boy who writes a diary as well. He is sort of some way off, and he is able to read his book by the light from the cathedral. And you can actually see the fire from 40 miles away in Oxford. And so it is, London is a conflagration. I mean, what we also have to remember is that the St Paul's dominates the whole city. So St Paul's is burning down, everything's burning down, and the next day, luckily, the fire starts to drop. The winds drop, and James, Duke of York, who you might remember from episode 1, he's a great hero in our story. He has really been mobilising everybody. He's got these command posts, and he realises in the end they have to blow up the houses to make big breaks. Pulling down the houses with fire hooks just isn't going to do it. So they start using gunpowder, and we are incredibly lucky because to the east, the Tower of London is under threat. Now, had the fire got to the Tower of London, we would not be doing our tours. The guides who are here today, we'd not be guiding at Tower of London because the gunpowder stores were kept there. And if the fire got there, the whole thing would have just gone up. I got a message on here. Alex, I don't know what that is.
No, it's Danny trying to help me with the Wi-Fi thing. So we might have apps open, but I've tried everything. So I'm going to have a little bit of a rummage with the router tonight and see if I can, kick some sense into it. But it's been bad for 24 hours. I haven't been able to upload yesterday's talks. I mean, it's a nightmare. So I don't know if something's gone wrong around here. But anyway, we're just going to have to live with it today. But I promise you, I'll get it sorted. Yeah, sorry.
No problem. Shall I just carry on?
Just carry on regardless. It's fine. Yeah.
Carry on.
I'm the least exciting thing about this, so don't worry if you can't see me.
Thank goodness they blow up houses and the Tower of London is saved. And now the winds drop and the fire dies down. But what we have to remember, which is quite interesting, is that although the fire, it sort of pretty much goes out, there are fires burning in cellars and things for months to come. Wow. It didn't just go out, and it was so hot. I mean, we have to remember that this fire was 1,700 Celsius. Now, if you think your oven, it goes up to about 250, doesn't it?
I mean, that would cook your shepherd's pie in like 5 minutes. It'd be great. Be done.
Seriously, I think 5 seconds. I know, absolutely.
Yeah, maybe.
It was the John Evelyn says that when he goes and walks among the streets, it's so hot you can't actually walk on it for several days. The horses can't put their hooves down it. It's really sad, actually, because, I mean, the animals in London, there were lots and lots of animals. Goodness knows what happened to many of them. And there's a horrible story of Samuel Pepys. He's going around and he sees someone pull their cat out of a cellar where obviously the cat had been hiding. And the cat has lost all its fur, but it's still alive and obviously terrified. And you hear stories of pigeons who... they can't find anywhere to perch, and their wings are singed, and they just fall out of the sky.
Awful, isn't it? And there is a story as well, isn't there, about the I think it might have been Samuel Pepys or possibly John Evelyn who heard the stones of St Paul's Cathedral literally exploding because it was that hot.
Yes, it was so hot. I think it's Evelyn, and he says they're like grenados or something, just catapulting off.
Because we talked the other day about how everything was timber, and so you just got this tinder box that everything is wood. There's nothing. These tiny little alleys, if you remember from the other day, fire, huge. I mean, it's an accident waiting to happen, really. And they did think, didn't they? With the date 1666, they had the number of the beast in there as well, 666, and they were convinced something was going to happen because
there was
suspicious.
There was a prophecy. People actually predicted this fire, absolutely.
Yeah.
So there was this feeling of almost expectation. They didn't know it was going to be a fire, but there was a feeling of expectation that summer that something was going to happen.
And wasn't there a comet and of course that came over as well? And they took it as a symbol of bad luck. And as well, all this superstition, it sort of almost kind of answered they were expecting.
And
really,
it did happen, absolutely. Now, one of the good things is about the fire is that only 6 people are recorded to have died. Now, sadly, we do believe a lot more than that died.
Yeah.
A lot of people would have just been incinerated. Perhaps the sick were left, we don't actually know. But of the 6 that died, we know about the maid who died at Thomas Farriner's bakery. There was also an old lady who was sheltering by the east wall of St Paul's, and apparently she was just incinerated, and this young chap, William Taswell, apparently saw her body. And there was a watchmaker called Paul Lowell, and he worked in Shoe Lane, and he was 80 years old. He refused to leave his home and his shop, and he just wouldn't leave, and his family was trying to persuade him, but he wouldn't, and he died. So let's move on, because otherwise I know we run out of time.
Let's go to the cheerier bits.
The fire has gone now. Now, statistically, just a few statistics. 13,200 homes were lost in this fire. 44 livery halls. We had 87 churches, some say 89 churches were lost.
Yep.
And the 6 deaths. So this is the magnitude. About 80% of the city of London, this walled, the walled part of the city.
Incredible to think about now, because it's so huge. And this is a little map. My big old face is in the way, I'm afraid. But to give you a sense, the black line that you can see on that, so sort of starting up here, and it kind of comes down through my face. This bit right here is the Tower of London, and the fire started kind of here and went that way. So you can see where the black line goes round. That is the limits pretty much of the City of London. And the red area is everything that got destroyed. So you can see it does go a little bit further than the City of London and down Fleet Street. Almost, not quite as far, but almost as far as the Royal Courts of Justice, if you know that building on Fleet Street. But otherwise, you can see it's the oldest part of the City of London that really takes the brunt of that fire.
It was actually when it got west of the River Fleet, they actually the Royal Court started really worrying, because they thought it might get to Westminster, and they started blowing up houses to make a break there. But as you say, Alex, yes, around Temple it stopped. So afterwards, of course, who is to blame for this?
Well,
now, as we know, there was all this sort of mob violence going on during the fire, and indeed after the fire as well. People wanted someone to blame. They were blaming the French. They were blaming the Catholics. In fact, it started in Pudding Lane and it ended in Pie Corner. So one of the things the Londoners what they were blaming it on was the sin of gluttony. They thought it was some sort of punishment, and this was definitely the main theory.
The likely culprit, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. But they managed to find a scapegoat, and they kind of needed to find a scapegoat. They were looking for someone to blame. And this poor chap called Robert Hubert, who was a French watchmaker, he confessed to it. He said, "It was me. I threw a fireball into the bakery. I did it. Hands up." So they arrest him. He's up for trial. And he was found guilty. Interestingly, in the jury was a certain Thomas Fariner. And Thomas Fariner, it was definitely in his interest to try and deflect the blame. Nobody at that trial really believed that Robert Hubert had done it. He had some mental health issues, or certainly issues, may possibly even been a suicide attempt. We don't really know why he did it. That is definitely one of the theories. But he was hung for it. They found him guilty, even though they knew he wasn't guilty. But he was a great scapegoat. He hung, and apparently he was hung at Tyburn. And after his death, his body was pulled down, and Londoners just tore this poor man apart.
Goodness.
So it's a horrific tale, really, a horrific part of our story, really.
And Thomas Fariner could have got away with it, didn't he? Really, he didn't. Given that it started in bakery. And not only that, he has a very prominent grave position in a church in the City of London, doesn't he? And you would think he'd have been ousted, and he'd have been
vilified.
Exactly.
No, they got their head go, and I think because of Robert Hubert, to be honest, Thomas Fariner kind of got away with it. However, the interesting thing is, in 1986, the Worshipful Company of Bakers got together and they did apologise. They said, "Hands up! I'm so sorry. It was one of ours. It was the baker. It was 320 years too late, but it happened in the end."
Oh my goodness!
let's get on to the hopeful bit of the story, because London is devastated, but it needs to be rebuilt. And to start with, Sir Christopher Wren and some other great men of the day, Robert Hooke and John Evelyn, actually, they submitted plans. And the idea was that London might be rebuilt as this, a bit like Paris, really, with boulevards and plazas. But people wanted to live where they'd lived before. They needed to get their businesses up and running. They wanted to get their homes back. And in the end, Robert Hooke, who's a big hero, he's a very interesting character, Robert Hooke, who's a character for another one of these, I think.
We might cover him when it gets to St. Paul's Cathedral, which we'll do on an occasion, because that's a whole other topic right there. So we'll
whole other topic. Exactly.
We could go down a rabbit hole otherwise, couldn't we? And we'll never get out.
Yeah, indeed. But Robert Hooke, he surveys the city, and his organisation is amazing. His administration is amazing. He plots everywhere that people had lived. And what we have to remember about London after the fire, it wasn't completely flattened. It was a shell. There were shells of churches everywhere. In fact, a lot of the churches were used to incorporate into the new churches, when Sir Christopher Wren, the very great Sir Christopher Wren, not only rebuilt St Paul's, but also 52 of the churches. And anyway, eventually London is rebuilt, and we just want to end this, because I'm aware that we're going, time is pressing on. Okay. But with a story of hope. Because when Sir Christopher Wren was, he got the job of rebuilding St Paul's, which is another topic. As he was doing that, he was looking amongst the rubble, and he was trying to work out where the dome should be. And he said, I need a stone. So someone went off and got him a stone, a bit of a fragment of a tombstone. And this was the stone that would mark the place where the dome would rise. And on that stone, it said, Resurgam, I will rise again.
And so that's in that picture just there.
Yeah,
Sorry.
If you look up, you're coming from the south, you look up at that portico there, and there is, in that triangular pediment, this triangular bit, is the phoenix rising again, this wonderful symbol of London. And that's why, in the end, this story is of resilience. It's of the Londoners' ability just to get back on their feet. And I think, for us today, what a fantastic story to know that whatever anyone goes through, we just get up afterwards and everything is fine. And of course, in the end, we get this extraordinary city, which was to become the most prosperous city of the world for some time. So it's a great tale.
And I love the phoenix, because the phoenix is that creature rising from the ashes, becoming a new,
rising from
being destroyed, being a new creature, and a new, powerful creature at that, with this lovely Resurgam underneath, which is I rise again. And so it's a fantastic thing to see on St Paul's Cathedral. And I think for everything we're going through at the minute, that is just a fantastic little. Like a little sort of link to everything today. We will rise again. We will be okay. Things are going to be all right. And I think, if we can take anything from the story of the Great Fire of London, it being so destructive, and really, a massive. Whenever we as guides we go to the City of London, we talk about London. It's one of the first topics we talk about for obvious reasons. It was such a defining period. And if we can come back from that, we can come back from anything. So I think for
absolutely
everything we're going through at the minute, the Phoenix and the Resurgam, I think is perfect. Hold that dear in your hearts, everyone.
Definitely.
Keep that. Put that as a screensaver. Keep it on you. Fantastic.
Great. Well, thank you.
Wonderful.
Alex.
Listen, thank you so much again, Laura. It's been fantastic. So we've managed to squeeze 5 days of Great Fire of London and of several years of reconstruction into 2 days, which is brilliant. And thank you so much for that. As you can see, Laura is. Everyone's been saying you're an amazing storyteller, and you are. So if anybody wants to come and do one of Laura's walks, I mentioned the other day she does them for Key Stage 1 and also any human that would like to do one. So her details are on my website. So as you can tell.
For firewalks. For school-age children, if anyone knows any schools who, after all this is over, it's a great group of guides, and we do these walks from the churches and from Museum of London. So absolutely.
I'm just having a look to see if there's any questions. Rosie PT said, did you say how many Londoners died in the fire? Well, it was officially 6, wasn't it? But realistically, we think the death toll was much higher. But
we think
the
more.
official number is 6. Just having a little look and see if there's anything else that anyone has asked about. Nigel Runstrom with his fantastic comments every time. If only Fireman Sam had been around then. Couldn't agree more.
If only.
I think that's it. There's not really any questions above and beyond little tips on for me on how to fix my my Wi-Fi. So we're going to leave it there for today. Yeah, I think that's everything. I haven't really got anything else to tell you today, partly because I've just been so busy doing garden things that I haven't really spent much time on the old internet lately. But listen, we'll see you all again tomorrow. Tomorrow is, what are we doing tomorrow? Anyone know? I've forgotten.
Katie,
what day is it tomorrow?
is it?
Sunday. Yes, Katie, that's it. We're having the fabulous Katie Wignall from Look Up London. And she's going to join us, and we're going to talk about, we're going to have a Secret Sunday, and we're going to talk about the secrets of Soho tomorrow. So that's going to be really exciting. I can't wait.
That's brilliant.
And then on Monday, we are doing Monarch Mondays. That's going to be just little old me again. And we're going to be doing Harold and William the Conqueror. Tuesday, we've hopefully got my friend Elizabeth Rizzini, who is a BBC weather girl. She's going to come on, talk to us about the BBC. And then Women's Wednesdays, I'm going to be talking about someone called James Barry, which doesn't sound logical for a Women's Wednesday, but promise me it is, and we'll get to that shortly. But there we go. So thank you so much, Laura. We will see you again soon, I'm sure. Thanks everyone for watching. See you soon.
Brilliant. Take care.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.